As we start this lesson, we're going to go into our health sciences division of cosmetology and discuss anatomy and physiology. We're going to review the importance of anatomy and physiology in the cosmetology profession. We will discuss the structure and division of cells. We're going to be talking about the various types of tissues in the bodies and explaining the basic functions of organs and body systems. We're going to review our skeletal system structures and functions as well. We will also describe our muscular system's components and the structures of the muscular system. We're going to be explaining the nervous system, divisions and functions, and also listing the functions of the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, our integumentary system, and also the endocrine system. When we are done, you should be able to explain the importance of the various body systems, structures, and functions. We understand that cosmetologists service the hair, skin, and nails, and we also want to have a full understanding of how our services affect our clients and the various parts of the body. Anatomy is the study of human body structures, how the body parts are organized, and the science of the interconnected structures of organisms, their parts. Physiology is the study of the functions or activities performed by the body structure. While providing services, cosmetologists affect the skin, the muscles, nerves, circulatory systems, bones of the head, face, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, legs, feet, hair, skin, nails. While delivering shampoo services, cosmetologists may be providing scalp manipulations. During aesthetic services, cosmetologists may be providing facials. During manicure and pedicure services, cosmetologists may be providing various treatments or services that require them to have an understanding of human anatomy. Recognizing different characteristics and functions of the hair, skin, and nails are important. Being able to recognize healthy hair, skin, and nails, knowing when to refer the clients out if there is a issue with any kind of services where a cosmetologist may not feel comfortable performing a basic service for a client. Although cosmetologists do not diagnose or treat any illness, they may need to recognize an illness so that they can refer the client to a dermatologist, a physician, or it just depends on whatever issue the client may be experiencing. Knowing the structures and areas of the head and face will also help. Knowing how to style clients based on their facial features and their different attributes will allow you to create flattering styles and makeup application that suit each client. As we discuss our cells and functions, we will keep in mind that cells are the basic structure of all living things. Tissues are made up of cells that are organized into layers or groups. Organs are groups of tissues that form complex structures and perform certain functions. Body systems contain organs that perform similar functions, and organisms are formed by groups of body systems, for example, the human body. Cells are the basic units of all living things. Bacteria, plants, and animals, including human beings, all have cells. A cell is made up of the protoplasm, in which nutrients, mineral salts, and water are present. Most cells also include a nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. The nucleus is the specialized structure in the center of the cell. It controls the growth and reproduction of the cell. It also contains the cell genetic material. Cytoplasm is the watery fluid that surrounds the nucleus. It provides a structure for the cell parts so they can move freely within the cell membrane. Enzymes in the cytoplasm help digest and break down other molecules for food. The cell membrane is a thin layer of tissue that surrounds the cell. It protects the interior of the cell from its surroundings. It is semi-permeable, meaning it allows certain substances to enter the cell. So we have our nucleus, our cytoplasm, and our cell membrane. Cells reproduce through a process called mitosis. This is when the cells divide into two identical daughter cells. Cells require favorable conditions to grow and reproduce, including an adequate food supply, water, oxygen, the correct temperature, and the ability to eliminate waste. Cells convert nutrients to energy through a chemical process called metabolism. There are two types of metabolism: anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is the process of simple molecules combining to form a complex molecule. Anabolism requires energy. Catabolism is the process of breaking complex molecules down into simple molecules. Catabolism releases energy. Cell structure and reproduction is important because as clients age, metabolism can have an effect on a cell's ability to function. Tissues, which are a group of similar cells that perform a specific function, fall into four categories: connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nerve tissue. Connective tissue is fibrous tissue that binds and supports other body tissues and organs. Epithelial tissues provide a covering that protects the body and is found within many parts of the body, such as skin, mucous membranes, digestive and respiratory organs, the lining of the mouth, and the lining of the heart and the glands. Muscle tissues contracts and move various parts of the body. Nerve tissues carry messages to and from the brain and controls and coordinates all body functions. Connective, epithelial, muscle, and nerve tissue, the four types of tissues in the body. Next, we will move on to organs and body systems. Organs are groups of tissues that perform specific body functions. Organs include the heart, brain, stomach, lungs, intestines, liver, kidneys, skin, and eyes. Body systems are groups of organs acting together to perform one or more functions. Cells, tissues, organs, and body systems all work together to help the body function properly. An issue with one area of the body could cause a malfunction in another area of the body. Not having enough food in your stomach could cause you to have a pain in your head, or a headache, in other words. Body systems include the circulatory systems, which controls blood movement throughout the body. Major organs include heart and blood vessels. This is important for cosmetologists because massage affects the circulatory system and good blood flow affects hair growth. Facial surfaces and shaving benefit from awareness of arteries and veins for safety. The digestive system breaks food down into nutrients or waste for nutrition or excretion. The digestive system includes stomach, intestines, esophagus, salivary glands. Good nutrition allows optimum functioning of all body systems. All body systems include hair, skin, and nails. Endocrine system controls hormone levels within the body that determine growth, development, reproduction, and health of the entire body. This includes endocrine glands and hormones. This is important to cosmetologists because hormones produced by the endocrine system directly impact hair and skin. The excretory system eliminates waste from the body, reducing the buildup of toxins. This includes kidneys, liver, skin, large intestines, and the lungs. This is important for cosmetologists to know because the excretory system eliminates toxic substances that can affect other body system functions. The immune system protects the body from disease by developing immunities and destroying pathogens and toxins. Lymph, lymph nodes, lymph vessels, and the spleen are all part of the immune system or lymphatic system. This is important to cosmetologists because the immune system protects the body from illness, and massage affects the lymphatic system. Integumentary system provides a protective covering and regulates the body's temperature. Our skin, oil glands, sweat glands, hair, and nails are part of the integumentary system. This is important to cosmetologists because the skin is the body's largest organ and is the first line of defense against illness. Cosmetology services are directly affected by the health of the integumentary system. The muscular system covers, shapes, and holds the skeletal system in place. Muscles contract to allow for movement of body structures. The muscular system includes the muscles of the body. This is important for cosmetologists because massage performed during cosmetology services affects the muscular system. A thorough understanding of the muscular system will also help prevent injuries during your career. The nervous system coordinates all other body systems, allowing them to work efficiently and react to the environment. Your brain, spinal cord, nerves, and eyes are part of the nervous system. This is important to cosmetologists because to provide safe and effective facial and nail services, cosmetologists need an understanding of the nervous system. The reproductive system produces offspring and differentiates males from females as assigned at birth. The uterus, ovaries, penis, and testes are part of the reproductive system. This is important for cosmetologists to know because the reproductive system and hormonal changes that occur with different life stages affect hair growth, hair loss, and the skin. The respiratory system makes blood and oxygen available to body structures through respiration and carbon elimination. The lungs and air passages are part of the respiratory system. This is important to cosmetologists because adequate oxygenation of tissues allows optimum cell functioning. Infection can spread through respiration, affecting safety and cleanliness. Skeletal system forms the physical foundation of the body, composed of 206 bones connected by movable and immovable joints. The skeletal system is made up of bones and joints. This is important for cosmetologists to know because it is important for protecting your own body mechanics when working, as well as knowing bone structures when providing treatments, including makeup applications. Can you identify 3 cosmetology services that require a basic understanding of anatomy and physiology? Can you describe the cell's basic structure? What conditions are needed in order for cells to divide? What are the 4 types of body tissue? What are organs? And what are body systems? What do they do? Keep all of those things in mind as you move through anatomy and physiology. The skeletal system forms the body's physical foundation and is composed of 206 bones that vary in size and shape. Osteology is the study of bones. A joint is a connection between 2 or more bones. There are 2 types of joints: movable and immovable joints. Joints in the elbows, knees, and hips allow movement. Joints in the pelvis and skull allow little to no movement. Movable and immovable joints. Except for tooth enamel, the bone is the hardest tissue in the body. Bone is made up of connective tissue consisting of about 1/3 organic matter, and 2/3 mineral. Organic matter is cells and blood, and minerals will include calcium phosphate and calcium carbonate. The skeletal system helps to give the body shape and support. It protects various internal organs and structures. It serves as the attachments for muscles and acts as levers to produce body movement. It stores most of the body's calcium supply and other important minerals, such as magnesium and sodium. It helps produce white and red blood cells. The skull is the head skeleton and it is divided into two parts: cranium, an oval, bony case consisting of 8 bones that protect the brain; facial skeleton, the framework of the face, composed of 14 bones. So our cranial bones include parietal, frontal, temporal, sphenoid, ethmoid, and occipital bone. 8 bones of the cranial. Two parietal, 2 bones forming the sides and top of the cranium; the frontal, which forms the forehead; temporal bones, 2 bones forming the sides of the head and the ear region; a sphenoid bone forms base and sides of the skull; our ethmoid bone separates the nasal cavity from the brain; occipital bone, located below the parietal bone, forming the back of the skull above the neck, maybe protruding; the facial skeleton bone. Skeleton has 14 bones. Bones that cosmetologists should remember: the vomer, turbinate, and palatine. Bones are the remaining bones in the facial skeleton are not affected by cosmetology services, but you do need to be aware of the zygomatic bone, nasal bone, lacrimal bone, maxilla bone, and the mandible. The zygomatic bones, also known as cheekbones or malar bones, they form the prominence of the cheeks and outer part of the eye socket. Your nasal bones, 2 bones that form the bridge of the nose. Maxilla bones, 2 bones that form the upper jaw. Mandible, largest and strongest bone of the face that forms the lower jaw. The neck bones. Main neck bones are the following: the cervical vertebrae and the hyoid bone. The cervical vertebrae, 7 bones located below the skull, provide support, structure, and flexibility to the neck. Hyoid bone, U-shaped bone at the base of the tongue that supports it and its muscle, the only bone of the throat. Chest and shoulder bones, scapula and clavicle. Scapula, also called the shoulder blade, large flat triangular bone of the shoulder. There are 2 scapula. Clavicle, also known as the collarbone. It joins the sternum and scapula. Arm and hand bones, metacarpus, phalanges, radius, ulna, humerus, and carpus. Metacarpus, 5 bones, or metacarpals of the palm located between the carpus and the phalanges. Carpus, also known as the wrist, flexible joint composed of 8 small irregular bones called carpals. Phalanges, also known as digits, bones of the fingers or toes, 3 in each finger and 2 in each thumb. Radius, smaller bones in the forearm, on the same side as the thumb. Ulna, inner and larger bone in the forearm, located on the side of the little finger. Humerus, uppermost and largest bone in the arm, extending from the elbow to the shoulder. Leg, ankle, and foot bones. Patella, tibia, fibula. Patella, also known as the kneecap, forms the kneecap joint. Tibia, also known as the shin bone, is the largest of the 2 leg bones below the knee on the big toe side that supports most of the body's weight. Fibula, located on the little toe side of the lower leg, smaller of the 2 leg bones below the knee. The ankle is composed of 3 bones: tibia, fibula, and talus. The ankle joint allows the foot's up and down movement. The foot has 26 bones subdivided into 3 categories: tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. Tarsals, 7 irregularly shaped bones in the ankle area, including the talus, calcaneus, which is the heel, and the navicular, cuboid, and 3 cuneiform bones. Talus, also called the ankle bone, between the heel bone, tibia, and fibula. Martisals, 5 long slender bones similar to the metacarpal bones of the hand. And the phalanges, also known as digits. There are 14 total, with 2 in each big toe and 3 in each smaller toe. Keep in mind which facial bones are most involved in cosmetology services, and also keep in mind the skeletal system's primary functions. The muscular system, which covers and holds the skeletal system in place and moves various parts of the bodies. Muscles are fibrous tissues that can stretch and contract according to body movements. The muscular system functions include mobility, circulation, respiration, stability, digestion, and posture. Myology, the study of the structure, function, and diseases of the muscular system, is also important to cosmetologists. Clients can benefit from the massage techniques you incorporate into nail and skincare services. Improper massaging may also result in negative effects for the client, so it is important to understand the muscle's functions and locations. There are more than 650 muscles in the body. 3 types of muscles include cardiac muscles, involuntary muscles, and voluntary muscles. The 3 types of muscles. Cardiac muscle is a type of striated muscle found only in the heart. Involuntary muscles, non striated, are controlled by the autonomic nervous system and control body functions such as breathing and digestion. Voluntary muscle, striated muscles, are muscles that we control at will. Cardiac, involuntary, and voluntary muscles. A muscle has 3 parts: origin, belly, and insertion. The origin is the part of the muscle that does not move and is anchored to the bone attached closest to the skeleton. The belly, or middle part of the muscle, and the insertion, movable part of the muscle anchored to the bone attached farthest from the skeleton. Origin, belly, and insertion. Muscle tissue can be stimulated by massage, infrared light, heat lamps, dry heat, moist heat, chemicals, and nerve impulses as well. Next, we will go to scalp and neck muscles. We have our epicranius, our frontalis, our epicranial aponeurosis, our occipitalis, our sternocleidomastoideus, and our platysma. The epicranius, broad muscle that covers the top of the skull and consists of the occipitalis and frontalis. The frontalis, which is the front anterior portion of the epicranius scalp muscle that raises the eyebrows, draws the scalp forward, and causes wrinkles across the forehead. The epicranial aponeurosis is a tendon that connects the occipitalis and the frontalis muscles. Your occipitalis is the back or posterior portion of the epicranius muscle that draws the scalp backward. The sternocleidomastoideus, the neck muscle that lowers and rotates the head, originates at the clavicle and inserts at the temporal bone near the ear. The platysma, broad muscle extending from the pectoral and deltoid muscle and the side of the chin, responsible for lowering the jaw and lip. As we continue to discuss the muscles of the body, the face, nose, and mouth muscles along with the shoulder and arm muscles, are of extreme importance to cosmetologists because these muscles are massaged during aesthetic services quite often. For face, nose, and mouth, we have the corrugator, temporalis, orbicularis oculi, levitator, levi superius, masseter, buccinator, triangularis, depressor label inferioris, procerus, levitator, palpebrae superioris, levitator anguli oris, zygomaticus minor, zygomaticus major, rhizorius, orbicularis oris, and mentalis. The corrugator, which is a small muscle located between the eyebrow below the frontalis, draws the eyebrow down and wrinkles the forehead vertically. Temporalis, located near the temple, it opens and closes the jaw. Orbicularis oculi, ring muscle of the eye socket that closes the eyelids and assists in pumping tears. Levitator levi superioris, muscle that surrounds and elevates the upper lip and dilates the nostril. Masseter originates at the lower part of the zygomatic, moves the mandible, causing the mouth to close. Buccinator, muscle of the cheeks between the upper and lower jaw that compresses the cheeks and expels the air between the lips. Triangularis, muscle at the corner of the lip that extends over the chin and pulls down the corners of the mouth when frowning. Depressor, labii inferioris, muscle that surrounds and lowers the lip and draws it to one side, as when expressing sarcasm. Procerus, muscle that covers the bridge of the nose, lowers the eyebrows, and causes wrinkles across the bridge of the nose. Levator palpebrae superioris, thin muscle that controls the movement of the eyelid. Levator anguli oris, muscle that raises the angle of the mouth and draws it inward. Zygomaticus minor, muscle that works with the zygomaticus major to make facial expression. Zygomaticus major, muscle that extends from the zygomatic bone to the angle of the mouth, directs the lip outward and upward when laughing or smiling. Rhizorius, muscle at the corner of the mouth that draws it out and back as when grinning. Orbicularis oris, muscle that circles the mouth and contracts, puckers, and wrinkles the lips. Mentalis, muscle at the tip of the chin that elevates the lower lip and raises and wrinkles the skin of the chin. Remember, anterior in front, posterior behind or at the rear, superior is above, inferior is below. Cosmetologists will mostly focus on and use the forearm, which has a series of muscles and tendons. These are shoulder and arm muscles. The trapezius, deltoid, bicep, supinator, flexor, pronator, tricep, and extensors. Trapezius covers the back of the neck as well as the upper and middle regions of the back, lifts and turns the head, raises the shoulders, controls swinging movements of the arms. Deltoid muscles. Large triangular muscle covering the shoulder joint that allows the arm to extend outward and to the side of the body. Bicep, front of the upper arm, produces the contour of the front and inner side of the upper arm, lifts the forearm and flexes the elbow. Supinator, forearm muscle that rotates the radius outward and the palm upward. Flexor, extensor muscle of the wrist involved in flexing or bending it. Pronator, muscle that turns the hand inward so the palm faces downward. Tricep, large muscle covering the entire back of the upper arm that extends the forearm and straightens the elbow. Extensors, muscles that extend and straighten joints such as the wrist, hand, and fingers to form a straight line. Hand muscles are made up of adductors and abductors. Adductors, muscles that draw a body part toward the midline of the body, draw the fingers together in the hand, and abductors, muscles that draw a body part away from the midline of the body, separate the fingers in the hand. Opponents, muscles that allow the thumb to be moved toward a finger of the same hand. Opponents, hand muscles, adductors, adductors, abductors, and opponents. Lower leg and foot muscles, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, extensor digitorum longus, extensor hallucis longus, gastrocnemius, tibialis anterius, and soleus. These muscles are small and provide proper support and cushioning for the foot and leg. It is helpful to know these muscles during a pedicure. Peroneus longus, the muscle that covers the outside of the calf, inverts the foot and turns it outward. Peroneus brevis, the muscle that originates on the lower surface of the fibula and bends the foot down and out. Extensor digitorum longus, muscle that bends the foot up and extends the toes. Extensor hallucis longus, muscle that extends the big toe and flexes the foot. Gastrocnemius, muscle attached to the lower rear surface of the heel that pulls the foot down. Tibialis anterior, muscle covering the front of the shin that bends the foot upward and inward. Soleus, muscle that originates at the upper portion of the fibula and bends the foot downward. Foot muscles include flexor digiti minimi, abductor digiti minimi, abductor hallucis, and flexor digitorum brevis. Flexor digiti minimi, the foot muscle that moves the little toe. Abductor digiti minimi, foot muscle that allows the little toe to flex and move. Abductor hallucis, foot muscle that moves the big toe away from the other toes. Flexor digitorum brevis, foot muscle that flexes the toes and helps maintain balance while walking and standing. Massaging muscles properly can greatly benefit and relax the client, and improper massaging can have negative effects on the client. Direct massage pressure only from the insertion area to the origin. Keep in mind why cosmetologists need knowledge of voluntary muscles. What is the proper direction for massage? What is the difference between striated and non-striated muscles? And what are the muscular system's basic functions? As we move to the nervous system, neurology is the study of the nervous structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system. The nervous system is a well-organized body system composed of the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. The main divisions of the nervous system include the autonomic nervous system, central nervous system, and peripheral nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, part of the nervous system that controls involuntary muscle action and regulates the action of the smooth muscles, glands, blood vessels, and heart, and breathing. Central nervous system controls voluntary muscle actions and consists of the brain, spinal cord, spinal nerves, and cranial nerves. It allows you to taste, smell, see, hear, think, breathe, move, run, sleep, remember, laugh, sing, write. The peripheral nervous system System of nerves connecting the peripheral parts of the body to the central nervous system. Has both sensory and motor nerves. Carries impulses to and from the central nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord. The brain is one of the body's most complex organs. It controls all the body's functions. The cranium protects the brain. The spinal cord is a portion of the central nervous system that originates in the brain and extends downward to the bottom of the spine. It is protected by the spinal column. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves that extend from the spinal cord to the muscles, organs, and skin. Nerves are whitish bundles of nerve fibers that transmit impulses. They originate in the brain and spinal cord and send their branches to all parts of the body. There are two types of nerves: sensory nerves and motor nerves. Sensory nerves, also known as afferent nerves, carry messages from the sense organs to the brain and spinal cord. Sense organs are heat, cold, sight, sound, smell, and taste. Nerve endings are located close to the skin surface and pass impulses to the brain and back through the motor nerves to the muscles, which causes movements. Motor nerves, also known as efferent nerves, they carry impulses from the brain to the muscle or glands. These transmitted impulses produce movement. The simplest form of nervous activity that includes a sensory and a motor nerve is called a reflex. A reflex reaction to an outside stimulus, for instance, is an automatic reaction that involves sending an impulse from a sensory receptor along the sensory nerve to the spinal cord. In response, an impulse is sent along a motor neuron to a muscle, causing a reaction. Recirculation system that carries oxygen, poor blood to the lungs for oxygenation and waste removal, then returns the blood to the heart so that oxygen-rich blood can be delivered to the body. Systemic circulation system that carries oxygen-rich blood from the heart throughout the body and returns oxygen-poor blood back to the heart, also known as general circulation. Blood vessels are tube-like structures that circulate blood throughout the body. Arteries, aorta, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins. Arteries, thick-walled, flexible tubes that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the arterioles. Aorta, largest artery in the body. Arterioles, small arteries that deliver blood to capillaries. Capillaries, tiny blood vessels that connect the smaller arteries to the venules, bringing nutrients to the cells and carry away waste materials. Venules, small veins that connect capillaries to larger veins. Veins, thin-walled blood vessels that are less elastic than arteries and carry blood containing waste products to the heart and lungs for cleaning and to pick up oxygen. They contain cup-like valves that keep blood flowing in one direction to the heart and prevent blood from flowing backwards. Blood is approximately 80% water. There are 8 to 10 pints of blood in the human body. Blood is a fluid that travels through the circulatory system to supply oxygen and nutrients to cells and tissues and removes carbon dioxide and waste from them. Blood performs the following critical functions. It carries water, oxygen, and food to all cells and tissue. Carries carbon dioxide and waste products that are eliminated through the lungs, skin, kidneys, and large intestines. Regulates the body's temperature. Works with the immune system to protect the body from harmful toxins and bacteria. Seals leak found in injured blood vessels by forming clots, which prevents further blood loss. For professionals permitted to shave, keep in mind head, face, and neck arteries, the external carotid artery, the internal carotid artery, and common carotid arteries. External carotid artery, artery that supplies blood to the anterior parts of the scalp, ear, face, neck, and sides of the head. Internal carotid artery, artery that supplies blood to the brain, eyes, eyelid, forehead, nose, and internal ear. And common carotid artery, main arteries on both sides of the neck that supply blood to the head, face, and neck. Head, face, and neck veins. External jugular vein, internal jugular vein. The blood returning to the heart from the head, face, and neck flows on each side of the neck in two principal veins. The most important face and neck veins are parallel to the arteries and take the same names as the arteries. External jugular vein, internal jugular vein. This is important for cosmetologists to know. It helps when applying massage movements, local motor points, and performing scalp treatments. The external jugular vein, located at the side of the neck, it carries blood returning to the heart from the head, face, and neck. The internal jugular vein, located at the side of the neck, to collect blood from the brain and parts of the face and neck. Can you briefly describe 6 types of blood vessels? Venous and arterial. Moving on to the lymphatic system, which is important for professionals to understand. Understanding the lymphatic system will help protect you and your client from exposure to infection and disease. The lymphatic system is an important part of the immune system, which helps defend against infection. It includes lymph nodes, thymus glands, spleen, and lymph vessels. Lymph is a clear or pale yellow fluid that contains white blood cells and travels through lymph vessels. Lymph nodes are gland-like structures that filter bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells, and are connected by lymph vessels. The primary functions of the lymphatic system are to provide a suitable fluid environment for the cells, remove waste materials from the body, cells to the blood, defend against toxins and bacteria, and to remove byproducts of infection such as pus and dead tissue, carry nourishment from the blood to the body cells. The integumentary system consists of the skin and its organs, oil and sweat glands, sensory receptors, hair, and nails. The word integument means a natural covering. The skin protects the body against outside elements such as germs, chemicals, and sun exposure. Skin is also water resistant and regulates the body temperature. The skin is the largest organ on the body. Understanding its function and how it's integral to the overall health of the guest is important for cosmetologists to understand. How your client's skin looks can signal health conditions that are contraindications to some services. It is important for cosmetologists to be able to recognize various skin conditions, disorders, and diseases. Although you do not diagnose or treat any disease, the recognition may be the first step to the client receiving the services that they need. The endocrine system is also important for cosmetologists to understand because clients may be dealing with issues related to their health that professionals need to take into consideration when providing services. Contraindications, seen and unseen, may determine if services may be performed on a client. The endocrine system is a group of specialized glands that control the growth, development, reproduction, and health of the entire body. Glands produce and release substances that perform a specific function in the body. Two main types of glands are endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine, also known as ductless glands, include the pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal glands, as well as other glands, and release hormones directly into the bloodstream. Exocrine glands, also known as duct glands, include the sebaceous and sudoriferous glands, as well as others, and produce a substance that travels through small tube-like ducts. Sebaceous glands are oil glands, and sudoriferous glands are sweat glands. The endocrine glands and the hormones they secrete significantly influence the body. Hormones are chemical substances such as insulin, adrenaline, and estrogens that stimulate activities in the body. Hormones influence the welfare of the entire body. Changes in hair growth or shedding may indicate an imbalance in the endocrine system. Hormonal imbalances can cause changes in the scalp, skin, and nails. It can also have an effect on hair growth, oil production, melanin production, and skin sensitivity, which could be contraindications to some services. Overall, professionals need to be aware of anatomy and physiology to ensure they are maintaining their health and the health of their